now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Stop-Et Spray Deodorant. Poof, there goes perspiration. And Finesse, the flowing cream shampoo. Time for What's My Line? Now, let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel, who for this week, for the second consecutive year, won the Sylvania Television Award for the Outstanding Panel Show on Television. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in the New York Journal-American and papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
On my left, the young gentleman who has the most entertaining and amusing television show in New York 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday, Mr. Steve Allen.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thanks very much. Thank you. And on my left, one of the lovely ladies of radio and television, and also the Broadway stage with her new hit show, Late Love, and seeing on another network in her own show, Talent Patrol, does a great many things, Arlene Francis.
How about that? I'm exhausted. And on my left, a gentleman who was just voted one of the 10 most famous pipe smokers in America. As far as I'm concerned, all 10 of them are embodied in this one fella, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
Thank you, Arlene. And on my left is our peerless and practically incorruptible panel moderator, a man who makes mountaineers out of molehills, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. We have some very nice people who've come through the rain of New York tonight to visit us and bring with them some very interesting occupations. I think the panel's going to have a little trouble tonight. We trust so. We certainly hope our guests carry home modest prizes and a good deal of fun because they've come to visit us. We'll also have a famous guest challenger before the panel a bit later in the program. But now I think it's time for our experts to meet the first challenger whose job has to be spotted. So would you sign in, please, sir? John F. John F. Short. How are you, sir? Where are you from, Mr. Short?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia?
Yes.
In Pennsylvania. Oh, that's very good. Glad I studied my geography. Let's see how you are at your geography. Over there is some very strange and foreign country. Go take a look at the panel, will you?
Shake hands, Mr. Short.
And me too, of course. Hello.
Howdy.
Well, Mr. Short, may I see the label in your coat to see if you buy your clothes in Philadelphia? Yes, he does.
All right, Mr. Short, would you come over here, please, and sit down next to me? Just because you have shaken hands with the panel, we're sure they've learned a great deal, and it's our custom at this point to let them have one free guess as to what a line may be. And we always begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think he's an assistant professor of chemistry.
An assistant professor of chemistry, Mr. Allen.
I'm allergic to dogs, and when he came over here, I sneezed. I think he raises dogs.
Miss Francis.
I think he's a tennis pro.
Mr. Cerf.
I think Mr. Short smuggles in Philadelphia newspapers to bootleg.
No, I'm afraid not. We'll let our viewers at home have a further look at Mr. Short, and at the same time, we will tell them what his line is. Mr. Short, the panel has got to go looking for the right answer now, and while they go looking, we hope that you give them no's, because every time you give a no, I flip a card, and 10 of these no's are $50, and you've won the game, which is much more important than the $50. We give them one last bit of help. I'm sure you know that. Mr. Short is self-employed. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Mr. Short, do you perform a service of some kind?
Yes.
Do both men and women avail themselves of this service when they come to you?
Yes.
Well, am I correct then in saying that you don't go from house to house to perform this service?
No.
Yes, you are correct in saying that Mr. Short does not go from house to house to perform this service. No, that's right.
People come to you.
That's correct.
If I came to you for this service, would what you do come in direct contact with my person, with my body?
No.
No. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Oh, does what you do please people?
Yes.
Does it cheer them up and make them happier?
No, I would think that sometimes we've seen evidence of this, yes.
You say you can do this for both men and women.
Yes.
Do you do it in your own territory? Is that what we've elicited from Mr. Bennett's questioning?
Well, what we've elicited from Mr. Bennett's questioning is that he does not go from house to house, that people tend to come to him to see the service performed or have the service performed or whatever relation they may have to the service itself.
Is this service more mental than physical?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Allen.
Might more than 1 or 2 people come before you in connection with the performance of your service?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Could as many as 10 avail themselves of whatever it is you do? Could they ever be described in any loose way as an audience or a class?
Yes.
Wish I hadn't said both. Well, I'll try one. Could they be called an audience?
Yes.
Could what you do be described in any way as entertainment?
Yes.
Is it quite definitely and without question entertainment?
Yes.
Good for you. Wish I
Not a
could say
panel
that.
show,
Is there any music involved in the performance of your work?
Yes.
Do you make it?
No.
No, he doesn't make it. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you wear some kind of a costume when you perform?
Yes.
Do you perform any sort of a feat that is requires dexterity?
Yes.
Are you ever off the ground?
Yes.
Aren't we all? So sometimes you go through the air?
Yep.
Do you go through the air with the aid of something as opposed to under your own steam?
Yes.
Let me say this, that in the proper execution of the service, it is possible that Mr. Short might be in the air of his own choice, but on other occasions, and of his own volition is what I meant to say, but in other instances, he might be helped into the air.
I see. Could you ever do the sort of entertaining you do in a circus? Would that kind of place lend itself to your particular talent?
No.
I don't think he'd do this in a circus, no.
I'm
That's
so
4 down and
disappointed.
6 to go, Mr. Sir.
Would you be apt, Mr. Short? You've thrown me off. I had a picture of you on a daring young man on a flying trapeze. Would you ever be likely to do this work that you do at or near an airfield?
At or near an airfield?
Yeah. No.
5 down and 5 to go. Miss Kilgallen.
Is the costume that you wear, Mr. Short, in any sense a protection as well as a decoration?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Allen.
Can't imagine how you get into the air.
Oh.
You're not Superman, are you?
No conference, please. Mr. Allen.
Oh, dear. Do you work with anyone else?
Yes.
Do they throw you around?
When you speaking now of those other persons who are necessary to the performance, do they throw him around?
I'm afraid I did mean that. Yeah.
Now, it makes it 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Francis.
So that one would not consider you in any way an acrobat, even though you are sometimes not on the ground. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Are you anything in the class of the Rocket Ranger division on television?
No.
No Rocket Ranger he. That's 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Short, is there any dancing involved in the job that you do?
Dancing, did you say, Betty?
Yes.
No, that makes it 9 down and 1 to go. Miss Kilgallen, this is a rough one.
Is there anything that might be considered sport or athletics?
Yes, I think so, don't you?
Conference?
Yes, small conference.
Wonder how high he gets.
We don't want to mislead you, and the terms of reference here we feel necessarily must take their basic structure from our own design and language and usage.
It always does.
We give you a qualified yes.
Do you have anything to do with animals?
Yes.
Is that how you happen to be sometimes in the air of your own volition? Because of an
Yes.
animal? Is this a four-legged animal?
Yes.
Are you then a person who rides or attempts to ride on a rather wild type of animal?
No.
That makes it 10 down and no more to go. And panel, I want you to meet Mr. John Fulton Short, bullfighter, member of the Mexican Bullfighting Union. You, Mr. Short, you are a matador, no?
That's true.
This is the top of the thing. This is where you go out with the one little thin blade between you and all that mad and angry muscle, right?
That's right.
Well, you've got four. You want to get the sword because the four of them would like to have a do at you right now. But we had a lot of fun fooling the panel, and we hope you had a lot of fun coming to visit us. But it was nice to see you on What's My Line, and of course you get the full prize. Good night, sir. Good to see you. All right, panel, let's see what we can do with challenger number 2. Would you sign in, please, sir? Wim H. Hall. Wim H. Hall. Is that right? Mr. William Hall, where are you from, sir?
Miami, Florida.
Miami, Florida. Well, it's nice to have you up here. Dare say it's not raining in Miami tonight.
I hope
It's
not.
in New York. Never does rain down there, does it?
Enough to talk about.
Well, now, why don't you go over and just take a look at the panel. Don't talk to them very much, will you? Because they'd like to meet you.
Hello, Mr. Hall.
All right, Mr. Hall, come over here now, if you will, and sit down next to me. And we will start the panel in with the usual free question as to what your line may be, or rather, free chance to guess. And we always begin the free questions with Miss Kilgallen.
I think Mr. Hall is the official greeter for Miami.
Official greeter, Mr. Allen.
I think he teaches the old-fashioned waltz at Arthur Murray's down there.
Miss Francis.
I think he teaches people how to aquaplane.
Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Hall looks very prosperous. I think he's the bell captain at the Lord Tarleton Hotel.
No, I'm afraid not. We'll let the viewers at home see Mr. Hall once again, and at the same time, we will tell them what his line is. Mr. Hall, I think you know the rules. The panel asks questions which you try to answer no as often as possible. Every time you do, we flip a card, 10 flips, and you're in. All right, Mr. Hall is salaried. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Steve Allen.
Is there a product connected with your work, sir?
Yes.
Might this product ever be used in the home?
Yes.
Might it possibly be used by a housewife?
Yes.
Could it ever be used outdoors?
Yes.
Could it ever be used outdoors in the wintertime?
Yes.
Could be.
Compared to, say, jewelry or something of that sort, would this be considered soft to the touch?
Compared to jewelry, would this be considered soft to the touch? I would think
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Used outdoor. Could this thing ever be put on in the region of the shoulders, say?
Yes.
Yep.
Is this the sort of a thing that the average woman would not wear, say, to a late-night...
You don't have to finish. Yep.
All right. Just the sort of a thing, let me get right to the point, that, say, the average woman of modest means would never find under her Christmas tree.
Is this something which the average woman of modest means would never find on her Christmas tree? I would say yes, wouldn't you, sir?
Does that mean that they wouldn't find it under the Christmas
Let's
tree?
have a conference.
Would not.
We've decided to give you an affirmative reply.
She would not find it.
No.
She would not. Is this an article of wearing apparel at all?
An article of wearing apparel at all makes it 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is this a useful thing,
Yes.
this product? Can it be used by men as well as women?
Yes.
Are they glad?
Yes.
Yes, actually, when they need to use it, they're real glad they got it.
It is not wearing apparel, but it could be found on the shoulders. Is that correct?
No, I believe the question was asked, is this something that a woman would tend to wear around the shoulders? Wasn't that the way you asked it?
I don't even remember the
Well, it
woman.
could be worded.
Well, they
What
used
I'm
it
just
on the
saying, it
shoulders.
can be used or put on the shoulders. Is that correct?
Yes.
It could be used to put on the shoulders, yes.
I see. It is something other than wearing apparel.
Yes.
Is that correct? Is it something that you could buy in a store?
Yes.
Is it something that might have any medicinal value?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you. Is it something that is a protection in some way?
Yes.
Would somebody put it on that might be going out into the sun or that had been out in the sun too long?
No.
No.
Oh, am I
Down
on the wrong
and take
track?
go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Hall, might this thing be used in any way in or about the water?
You mean specifically with relation to water?
I had mine, well, I won't tell you what I
Yes.
had mine.
Well, now that we got the water in there, we'll just take it right out, shall we?
It might be a diving apparatus.
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen. I'm going to give you 1 more minute.
Didn't you say that this could be used in the wintertime, too?
Yes.
By men and women?
Yes.
Children?
Yes.
Children could use it too, yeah.
Is there something you do with it besides putting it around your shoulders?
Oh, there's a good deal you can do with it besides putting it around your shoulders, yeah.
I'm glad. It was getting to be rather a limited area. Could you rub it on your legs, for instance?
Yes.
Could you rub it on your leg? Conference! I think actually the minute is about up, so I'm going to throw the towel in on the basis of time, panel. Because I don't want to answer the question, could you rub this on your legs, Dorothy? You see, Mr. Hall sells flea powder. So I see, Mr. Hall, you win the full prize, too, by default, because we've given all the time we can give to yours. We hope you enjoyed your visit. It was nice to have you, and
Thank you.
selling flea power on What's My Line. Good night, sir. Nice to see you. We'll be back with you in just a moment, but first, here is Arlene Gray with an interesting angle on a very interesting subject.
As you see, what I have here is a silver dollar and a quarter. And I'd like to ask you a question. Would you pay $1.25 for a bottle of shampoo? If you haven't, maybe you should. Yes, I know you can buy a shampoo for 50 cents or so, but if you do, you may be saving money you can't afford to save. It's what a shampoo does for you that counts. Ordinary shampoos will wash your hair, but so will a bar of soap. If you want more than that, then you want this finest of shampoos, Finesse. Finesse shampoo does for your hair what no ordinary shampoo at any price will do. It makes your hair shimmer. You'll see sparkles where there weren't any before. Finesse leaves the natural life and luster in your hair because it's a non-alkali shampoo, the only one on the market. And what's more, this bottle of Finesse will seem this big when you use it. You see, Finesse is concentrated, so all you need are a few drops for this creamy billion bubble lather. And you lather just once, where you'd ordinarily wash and rinse 2 or 3 times. Everything's easier with Finesse, and your hair is so manageable, you can go out right away looking your loveliest. Whatever you've been using, treat yourself in the holiday season to the most wonderful shampoo of your life, to Finesse Flowing Cream Shampoo. You'll have Christmas stars sparkling in your hair.
And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity. My friends in the panel are equipped with blindfolds because, as you realize, they would recognize our guest immediately on sight. The blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? As you know, in the case of our mystery guest, we dispense with preliminaries, get right down to the general questioning. I would add this word that our guest is having a little trouble with the voice department, so that he will whistle his answers. I think it's 1 if by land and 2 if by sea. 1 if it's yes and 2 if it's no. Is that correct?
1 if it's
All
yes.
right. With that, let's get started on the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, since your voice is so well known, are you somebody in the entertainment world?
Not a very good whistler, what?
Yes, that's right. Have you appeared in pictures? Radio? Well, to you. Television? Busy, aren't you? Now, would you be considered a leading man or a leading woman?
You mean with heavy reference on the...
I mean, I can't tell from the whistle whether it's a man or a woman.
Oh, I see. Well, when you're using a theatrical reference having
What
to
I
do
mean
with
is
the
leading.
position that an actor might hold in the theater.
Yes.
I mean, you mean by leading man a star actor, for
Yes.
instance? Thank you very much. 1 down, 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Let's try to get this sex down. Is that a masculine whistle I'm hearing?
No better than you
Not
are.
very.
That
Not
was
very.
a yes whistle, Bennett, that
The
you
yes
didn't
whistle.
hear.
You'd never guess it. Are you a youngish man, as such things go? You are. Are you, at present, involved in the holy state of matrimony? Is your wife also known in entertainment circles?
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is there something about our guest's voice, aside from the fact that it's familiar, as so many of our guest voices are, that would be a tip-off?
That was a yes whiffle. Just yet.
This is a masculine whistle, a married masculine whistle.
You want to hear an unmarried masculine whistle?
Yes, I would. Does our guest, do you, sir, do anything besides act? Do you do some other type of performing, such as singing, dancing, or playing a musical instrument? Yes? Have you done these things ever in nightclubs? Do you also do comedy?
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Allen.
I haven't heard this much whistling since this afternoon when I heard Julius LaRosa's record of A Campari. I think this might be Sam or Frescaliti or somebody. You do work in nightclubs. Are you a singer? Mm-hmm. You're no whistler, I can tell that.
Even Whistler's mother.
Might we hear your recordings on jukeboxes and that sort of thing? Are you in the popular field, in other words?
That's the last whistle. Now I'm going to ask our guest to use his voice and see what happens. Go ahead, Steve. I think you're getting hot anyway.
Are you Bobby Sock's favorite?
Let's go back to the whistle.
Panel, we have about 3 minutes to go. You got a yes to that, Steve.
Oh, dear. You are married, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have... What was that? May I hear that again? Do you have dark hair? Has it been established that he has worked in motion pictures?
The question, I think, was asked...
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was in that whole category of do you work in radio, television, etc. Would you like to ask it again to have it confirmed or unconfirmed? I mean, anything we can do to be helpful.
I'm going to take
you know,
a stab in the dark, as at the moment only one singer occurs to me who functions in all those fields. Now, I'll probably mention the wrong name. Are you Gordon McRae?
Gordon McRae, did you say?
No.
That makes it 4 down and 6 to go. All right, we have about 2.5 minutes to go, Miss Francis. It's 4 down and 6 to go.
Are you appearing do you appear in New York City often in nightclub engagements? Are you appearing in New York City now in a nightclub engagement? Oh, and he's a smash, too. Have we found out, I'm sorry, I got sort of sidetracked here, but have we found out which our star does? Is it sing or it's sing, is it? Do you sing alone?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you're singing alone now?
Mm-hmm.
And you sing in a nightclub in New York, a very well-known nightclub that's very cozy and attractive and has a French name?
Yes.
Is it Nat King Cole?
Nat King Cole is right. Nat, I'm a little bit worried about that whistle. Will you draw back and you give the real one? There. See, we could have given you that one. We didn't want to knock you right out of your chairs. Well, Nat King Cole, you've been a wonderful guest, and thanks for being our guest at What's My Line. Would you say hello to the panel, please? Well, I must say, panel, we were real rough on you because I think that whistle answer is just about as tough a thing as we've ever had to inflict upon you. But I'm sure you'll all agree if he'd used his real voice, you'd have gotten him very quickly, right?
Yes, that's true, except the worst thing we did have was the kazoo.
The kazoo was... I forgot about the kazoo. We'll bring it back. We'll be back in just a moment, but first here's Arlene Gray with an everyday reminder.
Yes, I'd like to remind you that America's favorite spray deodorant, Stop-It, is especially important during the holiday season with all the dances and parties coming on. Stop-It is the deodorant you can count on for true antiperspirant protection all day and all evening. The original Jules Montagnier formula that's never been successfully copied. Remember, just a squeeze of the bottle and poof, there goes perspiration.
Before our panel says goodnight, may I remind you to tune in again next Sunday evening at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when once again we invite you to play What's My Line. For other localities, check your local listings for the date and time of our weekly series.
What's My Line will be brought to you next week by Remington Rand, who now bring you this message.
For Christmas, that man of yours deserves the best. A Remington electric shaver. So gentle it can shave the short, close fuzz off a peach. So rugged it can shave the tough bristles off a brush. The Remington is bound to give that man of yours a close, comfortable shave. Tomorrow, when you're shopping for Christmas, reach for the Remington. Give him a Remington electric shaver.
And now, until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Steve.
Good night, Arlene.
And good night, Bennett, dear.
Works. Good night, John.
And good night, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Trotman production in association with the CBS Television Network.
This is the CBS.
Are you watching, you little rascals?
Oh, it's fun, isn't it?
And who subscribes to it? Go on, push the button.
Think of the fun you could have on the tube. The tube?
You.
Tube.
TV tubes. That's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's going to be a lot more fun if you keep going the way you're going.
Go on, push the button.
Please subscribe.
I hope they're watching.